up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're in a new filming location for a special reason. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2022 Audi SQ8. But before we get into this V8 twin turbocharged luxury SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Audi, that iconic German brand doing the business for so many decades. When I say Audi, most people would think Audi R8, at least car enthusiasts. But you know what? Audi has a full lineup of SUVs, and they are doing not only their traditional high-end German style, of course, interiors that are second to none, but also performance. Now, over the years, Audi has increased that SUV lineup, and just a few years ago, they brought in the Q8. Now, what's interesting is that this vehicle shares the same platform with Lamborghini's mighty Urus. But unlike the Lamborghini, it comes in at a totally different price point. But what I want to find out is this the best new luxury SUV? And is it better than the mighty Porsche Cayenne? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this SQ8 and find out. Right off the bat, the size. It's got an interesting shape to it, to where it doesn't look big and bulky, even though it is basically a larger mid-size SUV. At the front of the business, you're gonna get that great LED lighting from Audi. You can see our LED turn signals, daytime running lamps, and LED headlights. Really love the way they do the headlight housing, and they have some of the brightest LED lights in the industry. Working our way down, because this is an SQ8, S brings some extra performance. You're gonna have functional corner air intakes, not only for the large heat exchangers, but also for the side air curtains. I like the fact that it's flat black. It would be a little too much gloss black with everything going on in the corners, so nice to see that functionality. And if you want more performance, I'll leave the link of the RSQ8 that we did not too long ago at the end of this review. So you got Q8, that's your entryway. This is the SQ8, that's your next step up. And then there is the mighty RSQ8. Now, as we come across that massive open face grille, unique to Audis, let me show you some of the touches. Of course, we got our SQ8 badge. So this is a Q8. And when you add that letter S with a little bit of red, you're getting extra performance. It's a real deal performance trim, full functionality out of the flat black grille with the forward-facing camera and the traditional auto union badge. And then we have these gloss black vertical slots. And then on the bottom portion, a little bit of gloss and some body matching color silver. But the great news is, like I said, everything is functional, and you're not gonna confuse this with any other German performance SUV. If you look at the Cayenne definitely has a cleaner, more subtle look compared to the SQ8. Now, when we get up onto that mighty hood, you can see the nice body lines and how everything fits clean with the top of the grille. You're just gonna have two fresh creases that go towards the windshield. Everything else is super smooth and super aerodynamic. Now, when we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So when you go SQ8, this has optional. Standard wheel is a 21-inch wheel. This is a 22-inch wheel. This is an optional wheel, 22 inches, machined aluminum, the Audi badge, and then check out those calipers. Big old bad, massive Brembo calipers with the S badging on it. You got a two-piece rotor. We got adaptive suspension, all four corners. And of course, we have that style that definitely screams Audi. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this tire up front? 285 on the width, 40 series sidewall, and I love the way everything is painted that beautiful sparkling silver. Now, coming down the side on the SQ8, you do have gloss black on the mirror caps, turn signals built in, 360-degree cameras. I like the way that they went flat black on the roof rails, gloss black around the window treatment, and just a thin strip that slides perfectly into the lower door sill area. Now, you'll notice, like I said, this is almost like a chop top of an SUV with that lower roof line. Also, you have frameless side door. So normally you would have the door frame that wraps around the glass, just like the Lamborghini Urus. You do not have that. Those are frameless windows on that door. So close the door nice and clean. That hard, crisp body line coming to the rear quarter and your rear pillar here, and then wrapping around back. But before we do, let's check out. I know that these are larger. So when you look at the rear tires on this beast, just like up front, 285 on the width, but the great news is this is a rear wheel drive base platform. So you have most of the power going to the rear wheels, and then that quattro all-wheel drive is gonna send power to the front wheels to give you that nice balance. Now, when we swing it around back, what do we got going on? Same great LED lighting, just like up front. Very clean, very crisp. I love the way it's got that nice flow design as the turn signal is flashing. You're gonna have a pretty long roof spoiler. We're gonna have to zonk this. Think about it. If that wasn't there, this would look much cleaner at the back. We got the Audi badge, that auto union badge, the lighting that goes across, and then working our way down, what do we got for exhaust? We actually have twin functional exhaust outlets on both sides. So you got two on the passenger side, two on the driver's side. It's got a stainless steel tip, oval shape / cut. There's the 4 exhausts, and then you have a simple rear diffuser area with your SQ8 badge. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and check out the power plant of this mighty SUV. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have, of course, hood struts. Underneath the hood, there's a lot of plastic, so that is a bummer. But the good news is they did a pretty decent job of adding some red, because this is an S branded Q8 with your auto union badge up top. And then, of course, V8 let you know what we have. A 4-liter twin turbo V8, 500 horsepower, 568 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive, 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds, quarter mile, 12.2 seconds at 112 miles per hour. And believe it or not, top speed is governed to 130 miles per hour. MPGs, 15 in the city, 21 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs around 5,469 pounds. What's crazy is, besides the wheels being massive, pizza-size, 22-inch in diameter wheels, the brakes are almost 16 inches in diameter. So it's like a pizza within a pizza within a pizza. Well, why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this twin-turbo V8 and hear its roar. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Audi SQ8. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need some luxury. I definitely want some performance, but I do have kids and they got all their practices and dancing recitals and everything else I got to drive them around in. How much is this SUV? Because I need an SUV. What do we got? So this one does have the Prestige package, which is around a $6,000 option, but you're getting things like those massive 22-inch wheels. Everything else, MSRP right at $111,000. Let's see how it stacks up to the Porsche Cayenne, to the door panels. Love Audi's styling. You're getting leather up top, real carbon fiber, 2 memory seat settings for the passenger, and then you're gonna get a mixture of some Alcantara in the center, and then I'm really digging the cherry red leather. Really brings the door panel alive. Door pocket is pretty good size. I would say easily could put 3 beef and cheddars from Arby's and a bunch of horsey sauce. And then you'll notice we have the optional Bang & Olufsen sound system. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, same story. The leather, the stitching. It does get a little gloss black heavy in front of the passenger, but I am liking the carbon fiber. We get to the center stack, everything is nicely integrated. In a day and age where screens are being stuck on with bubble gum and double-sided tape, it's nice to see something clean and also very intuitive. So you have your 10-inch infotainment system screen, navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We could go into our vehicle settings. You could actually pick up our Audi Drive Select and go into our different modes very easily. But as you can see, it's super intuitive. Even the vehicle data. Look at what we have in here with an inclinometer. How many vehicles have an inclinometer? How many people know what an inclinometer is? So kind of cool that you have that technology. I throw it into reverse. Really good on the resolution. Backup camera, 360. We hit the camera button here and that brings us right back to where we started. And then I go right back to home. And then you could cross that out just like that. Many different screens, as you can see. I like the way you could have everything up with your Sirius XM. And then you can just pull up your navigation, go back to home, home address. I don't want you to know where I live. Working your way down, you got an 8-inch screen here. This is going to control your dual climate control, heated seats, ventilated seats, and heated steering wheel, hill descent control. You could also get into your Audi Drive Select simply by pressing here as well. See how I could change all road, comfort. We're going dynamic. Dynamic is basically sport, and you can see how it's lowering the actual SQ8. Real volume knob, which is nice to see. Some gloss black, but the good news is on the edge, look at the carbon fiber. Very, very nicely done. This is going to control that 8-speed automatic with your perforated leather. 2 cup holders and a 12-volt. You're going to want a radar detector, I promise you that. Here's your Audi key fob. Simple, straightforward, with the S badge on the back. The only thing I'm going to zonk is I wish that there was some type of lid to cover this up, because this all looks great, but this just looks, I don't know, like they just plopped it in. You do have a German Twinkie holder here, so one Twinkie will fit perfectly there. And then watch what the armrest does. Watch this. Boop. So you can actually go a little higher or a little bit lower. Open it up. We have the Audi polishing rag. Nicely done, and you can see, check it out. It's got the Auto Union badge on it. Now what's great about this cloth is that you can polish all your fingerprints off. There we go, good as new. Some felt lining, 2 USB-Cs, and I would say enough room to where you could put 1 and maybe 2 Sony Discman. You're just gonna have to put the headset somewhere. So 2 actual Discman players or 1 player and a set of headphones, doing it old school. And then you could get your big binder out with all your CDs. I know Steven still has his CD collection when he was back in high school. Seats, the leather, the S badge. I love the way they're red. Gives it a nice look in here. Electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, and they got nice bolstering. A little bit more bolstering than your standard Q8 seats. Soft as your girlfriend's pussycat with the headliner. And then watch this. One touch. Look, Mom, no hands. That shade goes open very easily. But you know what? Why don't you come over to the business end? I got 12 inches I want to show you in this SQ8. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings in case you're brave enough to let somebody borrow your SQ8. You do get the S badge to greet you every time you open up the door. And Audi does one of the best pedal boxes ever. Super size on the dead pedal. Nice aluminum finish. Big old brake pedal, also aluminum, and an aluminum throttle. Seat controls have a nice aluminum finish to them. So they really tie it in nicely, all the fit and finish. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom in here, even with the panoramic sunroof. Steering wheel, leather, the 2-piece style, looking really great. Aluminum style on the wheel with the S badge, and of course the Auto Union badge staring at you in the face. You do get paddles to go up and down the 8-speed, but I am gonna zonk them because first of all, they're small. Second of all, they're plastic. They need to be metal. You do have an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then I promised you 12 inches. There's 12.3 inches of virtual cockpit. Audi was the first to bring this technology. Look at the way I could bring up my navigation or go right back. And since I'm in dynamic mode, the tack is right in the center. And if you don't want the map there, you don't have to have the map. You can easily put whatever you want. As you have your setup with your information in the gauge cluster. You could also do a head-up display, which also is going to give you perfect information. But why don't we go ahead, let's see if there's a perfect place for your passengers in this German SUV. All right, guys, backseat time. Now, what's nice is you do have the power shades that raise and lower all by the press of a button, carbon fiber. And then another great thing is I love the way they bring AC vents into the actual frame rail. You got Bang & Olufsen speakers in the frame rail as well. Backs of the seats, the nice red leather. You do get the cargo net. So I am gonna zonk this. And the problem is that if your kids like to bring around their sharp objects like knives and daggers and swords, it's gonna rip right through this. So I guess my advice is give them soft things to use, not sharp things. As you come on in and I slide on over, you can see we have our little command center, just like up front, dual climate control. We got heated seats, but no ventilated seats. And at $111,000, that's a zonk. But you do have your dual climate all the way down, even with the fan speed, which is a nice touch. I got my own cargo net over here. Plenty of room. And what's great is that the room is actually versatile. And what I mean by that is, watch this. You actually have seats that slide. Obviously, they're also going to recline a little bit. That's like a sad recline. I guess if you could sit like this, or then you could recline it like that. But you also do have semi-soft on the armrest. Interesting placement for the cup holder, but you have it. And then you put it back. Seats have the same great pattern and stitching as the ones up front. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the cargo area and see how much mail we could haul in this SQ8. All right, guys, cargo area time. What's nice about this vehicle is not only can you get the performance, but you're also gonna get some nice cargo space. You're gonna be greeted to 31 cubic feet of space. Now, if you're worried about how high the rear bumper is, let me show you something. On the driver's side, you actually have the ability to raise and lower the rear of the vehicle very easily. Of course, we have a cargo net here to where, and I just kind of undid the cargo net a little bit. There we go, I fixed it. You can easily put one Costco hot dog here. That's for emergencies only while you're at the Nürburgring. Other than that, you got nice wide space, pretty tall, like I said, for a lower roof SUV. And then of course, you're gonna get a spare, which is nice as well, because a lot of times on performance vehicles, you don't get a spare anymore. Of course, those seats could do the 60-40 split to maximize the space, but you know what? I wanna maximize our on throttle time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead, fire up this SQ8 and go on throttle. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Audi SQ8. Right away, every time I get into an Audi vehicle, you just admire the level of fit, finish, and materials in the cabin. I mean, the leather that they use, the carbon fiber, the aluminum, all the pieces add up to this beautiful thing that you get to wrap yourself in, and it really just brings the driving experience that much higher. Now, visibility out the front windshield is great. I'm gonna go on throttle just to give you a little taste, early taste of the twin turbo V8. But if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. You are really not gonna be hurting for power in this thing. 500 horsepower is nothing to laugh about, and Audi does a really great job with their Quattro system, and also, of course, that adaptive suspension at all four corners, but it really gets the traction down nicely. I'm actually gonna come to a complete stop here, and we're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Look at that, comes on strong. Nice, smooth, fast shifts from the 8-speed automatic, and then of course those ginormous Brembo brakes are just gonna shed speed faster than a freaking dog is gonna shed hair. But even with the lower roofline, visibility out the back is spectacular. Everywhere you touch is high end. I love the integration of the infotainment system and how easy it is to navigate through, even while you're driving. And then of course, you have that second display, which allows you to get into your AC controls and everything else. But Just an intuitive system, and the virtual cockpit, I'm telling you, is probably the best one in the industry because of how clear the resolution is, the level of font, the colors, the whole 9 yards. But here we go. On throttle. I'm telling you, this thing shifts very, very quickly all by itself. And then, like I said, the brakes just bam, get you stopped where you're giving everybody, you're stopping on a dime and you're giving everybody change. But let's go ahead and do this again on throttle. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes into this right-hand bend. Nice, here we go. Yeah, this thing is a beast. Absolute beast. Of course, we're in dynamic mode, and that's going to be that high performance mode within the Audi driving system. And the crazy thing to think is that there's another level above this when it comes to the RSQ8. Now, when you're comparing it to the Porsche Cayenne, the Porsche is a little bit tighter on the interior. Obviously you have different powertrain options with the Porsche as well, but there's just something about this 4-liter twin turbo V8 that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. All right, guys, slow roll. On throttle. Look at this. Holds a line really, really well. And it shouldn't be doing the things that it's doing, because remember, this being an SUV has the center of gravity up much higher than, say, a sedan or a coupe, but yet it just claws at the surface and gives you tons of grip and traction. And then the great Audi suspension allows you to have that balance where you're not rolling over and feel like you're just gonna flip over. You're able to feel how much traction you have, how much grip you have, and you're able to power through. And the crazy thing is, we're on all-season tires. Imagine a little bit sportier style tire at all 4 corners, and now you just raise the bar another notch. Getting out onto the highway, no problems driving this every day. Whisper quiet in here, super smooth, and this is in the dynamic setting. Still totally comfortable. The seats have just enough bolstering to make things interesting without making you feel like you're in a vice grip. And then just the level of the quality in here, I'm telling you, it's like you get used to it and then you drive it again and you're like, wow, they really did a phenomenal job on this interior over at Audi. All right, we're back out on the highway, and once again, you can see just how easy it is to drive this vehicle. You got all the safety features. I like the way the blind spot monitoring lights are actually on the inside of the housing rather than the actual mirror glass. I think it makes it so much easier to read and to see. And then obviously you just got to watch out for some of these Florida drivers. I don't know what's going on with people just pulling over, but you just got to be on your toes. Anytime you're in Florida, just be on your toes. That's all I could say. But the nice thing is the way that this handles, the way that it brakes, and everything in between allows you to have that confidence, allows you to feel good. And I really like that about this SQ8. But look at this, you throw it into a right-hand bend, it sticks. All right, guys, one more time. I want to see what the traction of this beast is. Around the right-hand bend of Rady's Rides, on throttle, here we go. Look at that, yeah! It stuck like Gorilla Glue around that corner. And see, that's what you're getting. It's not just about horsepower. It's about, with this all-wheel drive, the Quattro system, it is so fine-tuned with how it delivers power to the front wheels and the rear wheels that you have grip for days. It's like you got big old rolls of grip tape around each of those tires. And like I said, that is with all seasons. Could you imagine with something just a little stickier? This thing would be invincible. But hopefully this has been a nice overall review of the SQ8, showing you the performance, showing you the luxury from Audi. We're gonna wrap this one up and get back to where it all started. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a great day here in Tampa Bay with this 2022 Audi SQ8. Of course, we got to thank everybody at Audi USA for allowing us access to this press fleet vehicle. So what do you think? Is this better than the Porsche Cayenne? Is this the best new luxury performance SUV you would buy? Put your comments in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ladies Rise family. We got to give it up. Stephen Flood Photography. Makes sense. He likes to keep things simple. But you know what? Follow him on Instagram at Stephen Flood Photo, because his camera skills will amaze you and basically melt your brain. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.